On August 13th, Angela Mitchell basically talked about this whole face mask thing and mischaracterized. She said that Biden is not playing the game on face mask and basically blaming Donald Trump. And so you can see how the media was completely and utterly coordinating with the Democrat Party as early as August about this pandemic, realizing, you know what, this is going to be the issue that we're going to beat him on because Republicans really don't care about your health or your health care because now they're doubling down on that too.
Oh, yeah.
So here's the first of a number of clips. We're going to work up to them, and here it is.
Federal government to order masks. The president also mischaracterized Biden's positions on shutting down to stop the pandemic.
He wants to shut down our economy, close our schools, and grind society to a halt.
So that's Angela Mitchell saying the president in August mischaracterized Biden's position. Biden, according to Angela Mitchell, never said that he wanted to shut down the economy. So here's the thing. What does Biden want to do? Because he's saying that Trump mishandled the pandemic. So therefore, the only other thing that you could do is continue to utterly and completely shut down the economy and say to everybody, shelter in place, don't leave your house. You can only order stuff online and have it delivered to your house. You can't go to work. I mean, that's really, in my opinion, the only other option.
Exactly.
And so what do you think? I mean, go ahead.
I think the U.S. nationwide can't afford another shutdown. So many small businesses have been hurt. Students are falling behind. Some kids, probably in every state, don't have access to broadband or internet access. They need to be in school. They need to be interacting with students. They need to play sports, not just for social and physical activity, but for some it could be a scholarship or a ticket to a better life.
Absolutely. I mean, it makes perfect sense. And look, this podcast, it's hard to believe we have to do a podcast on this, right? But we have to because the Democrats are basically saying that the entire Democrat Party, Republicans, because they don't wear masks, which, by the way, isn't true. Republicans wear masks when they go inside and go inside of public places, right? Or private businesses, they wear masks, right? When they're home, they can choose to do whatever they want. And also when they're outside, I think you should not be wearing a mask outside. Exactly. I think that is utterly absurd unless you are someone who is really prone to potentially dying from coronavirus, which means you have lots of comorbidities, you are of a certain age, in which case maybe you shouldn't be outside to begin with. I'm just saying, other than in your backyard. But those are the details that Democrat Party just doesn't want to talk about, so they just play the fear game. So here we have, in the very first debate, because we're going to work up to this, podcast listeners, in the very first debate, we've got Biden saying that Trump didn't do enough to save lives. Of course, once again, it's all about fear, right? You're going to die if President Trump gets reelected. And here's the next clip, and here it is.
Did nothing. He waited and waited and waited. He still doesn't have a plan. Wrong. I laid out back in March exactly what we should be doing. And I laid out again in July what we should be doing. We should be providing all the protective gear possible. We should be providing the money the House has passed in order to be able to go out and get people the help they need to keep their businesses open schools. It costs a lot of money. You should get out of your bunker and get out of the sand trap and get in your golf course and go in the Oval Office and bring together the Democrats and Republicans and fund what needs to be done now to save lives.
So in order to save lives, at least in that clip, Biden said during the first debate with Chris Wallace, of course, it was incredibly crooked and unfair in that first debate. But Joe Biden said, well, there isn't enough protective equipment. There isn't enough So in other words, there aren't enough masks, which is why we put that clip up there. And the fact of the matter is that as of many months ago, there were plenty of masks. And there are plenty of masks. And many people are making their own masks.
Oh, yeah.
The real question is that no one wants to talk about is how effective are masks and which masks are more effective than other masks.
Yes. I've seen different studies. I know some people say the net gaiter masks are the least effective and do nothing. And
what's a net gaiter mask? Explain that.
I think it's one of those masks there where it's a circle and you wrap it around around your face and it covers from your nose down instead of the standard mask where you fasten it behind your ears.
Oh, so then you just like it goes around your neck and then
You look like a bandit.
It looks you look like a bandit, exactly. It's like and do they work? Because those are kind of like it's not really surgical grade mask type equipment. It's basically cloth.
From what I've read, those are not considered effective, although I have heard people say that cloth masks are a little more effective in that way, but the most effective is the N95 respirators that we, of course, reserve for the frontline workers and first responders.
Absolutely. And herein lies where the debate really should go, which is not whether or not everybody has personal protective equipment, because they do. Everybody has a mask now, everybody. The question is shouldn't we be debating the effectiveness of mask wearing, and more specifically, what masks actually work and what masks do not work so well. And I think it's pretty obvious from any reasonably intelligent person that a mask that is homemade with cloth probably doesn't really do anything. Whereas a surgical mask or an N95 mask or really high-end mask probably does something and probably does more and might be worth the cost of it, particularly if it can be reused, quite a few times and or cleaned or whatever the case may be. But that is not what Joe Biden does, just saying he should have done more on masks. Well, by the first debate, there were plenty of masks everywhere.
Yeah.
So why not have the debate on, okay, are masks actually working? And here's the problem. Social media won't even let you post about it. They will literally cover up the post and take it down if you say, hey, look, I have a mask and it's a cloth mask and I bought it from ABC Cloth Masks Incorporated. I made that up, by the way. And I'm just putting it out there. I don't think this mask really works. Does anyone have any data on this? Facebook and social media and Twitter, all of it, including YouTube, they would take that down.
Oh, yeah.
Because, now wait a minute, isn't the whole idea to be educated about whether it actually works, right?
Multiple opinions. That's science.
That's how we get to the truth, by having this really great, robust debate a number of different ways. And one major way in modern America is through social media. But yet we can't even have that conversation. And even at the presidential level, they can't have that conversation